And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
It is New Year Day. As at the time of this recording, we're recording on Saturday, the 1st of January, 2022.
It is
Yeah,
2020 Part 2.
yeah. So this is when Sword Art Online went live and all those massacres happened.
Look
Uh,
forward to that later in the year.
yeah, later in the year. So no, it's funny. Before we get into the show and intro and all that, it's funny how a lot of historic like movies and stuff were placed in the 2020s, and let's see how close to accurate we are. Which for most of the stuff we were already in spaceships and stuff, so
Right,
obviously not the case. But
right.
it's kind of funny to kind of see that stuff. We're already past what. Uh, Back to the Future was
That was
years ago, so
2015, yeah.
yeah, 2015. So it's funny to see. I guess that just means we're old.
When Back to the Future went into the future was the same year we started this podcast.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So yeah. So look around for Marty McFly here.
So, all
So
right.
we're in a new year. I did get Legend. I got Legend early last month,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm already kicking it since New Year's Day is on a Saturday, and I'm off today, and I don't work till tomorrow afternoon. I'm already up to like diamond, not diamond. I'm into platinum 9, platinum 8, something like
Okay.
that. Playing the deck we're gonna play this week, which is a big hero power mage, or we call it Rune Wildfire Mage.
Yeah.
Um, it's fun. I'm thinking about making some changes to it. I want to play it as is for the
So
show.
this is Vicious Syndicate's list.
Okay, so this is a Zacho list.
This
Okay,
is a Zach list, yeah.
so
So
I
um,
uh I,
there is
I
another
am
version of this that has been making the rounds on Twitter that was originally, I think, created by Orange,
okay.
and I played that list some too. Matt at Arms had told me about this list, and I went over and pulled it and have been testing it out and having a lot of fun with it as well. There's not a whole lot. There's just a few subtle differences between the Orange list and the Vicious Syndicate list,
Okay.
but I've been having a lot of fun with the deck as well.
I'm sure Zacho will talk about it on the podcast. I'm sure, knowing Zacho, this is probably a list adapted from the Orange list.
Mm.
So, again, don't quote me on that, but that tends to be Zacho's MO. He'll play a popular list and then he'll make the changes he feels based on statistics he's found through Vicious Syndicate's data.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why I like Vicious Syndicate's list, because they're very much data driven.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, he might start testing off a specific list, but by the time he presents it and sends it out on Twitter or puts it on the Vicious Syndicate meta report, he is actually, fine tuned it based on the data he's seen.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that deck and my experience with the deck when we get to the second half of the show. But other than that, I officially this morning have hit all my last night hit all my task 7 equipments for mercenaries.
Congratulations. That's a lot of grinding, sir.
Oh, a lot of toilet time. A lot of toilet time. So I'm officially task 7 across all 50. Is it 56? Or might be more than that now.
Yeah,
I think it's
maybe more than
52.
that now,
Then
yeah.
or might be 60 characters now. But I've got them all task 7. And now I'm looking. I've got about half of them max stats. So I'm looking at getting the other half, which the way I do it is I just keep doing my task grinding
Mm-hmm.
like I did trying to get the task 7s, but I get the ones that I want to max, because when you finish their tasks, you get a lot of coins just for that mercenary. So that's the way I grind it out. And I've been playing some PvP and doing really well, kind of playing some comps, talking about with Marspad in our patron-only Discord that you can be part of by going to Hero Power, or going to patreon.com/Hero Power, and you can get in discussion in our Discord. But Martha and I are talking about some comps, and one of the comps I've been testing out is Valera and Trigor, and then 4 other characters that work well. Where the synergy with that is Trigor does his real quick ability that whenever a adjacent minion takes damage, he does his attack and damage to them, and then Valera goes, attacks the lowest health, then Trigor does the damage, and then she goes into stealth and lowers the speed, or speeds up the rest of the team while she's in stealth. So you can like snipe a caster or even a fighter really fast at their lowest health. So the goal is to go after the lowest health. And then I paired it up with a beast comp with Mukla. I paired it up with a human comp with Cornelius as the third in the starting rotation. And I'm still fleshing that out, but it's I think I'm sitting at like a 67% win rate. Not a lot of playing yet.
Okay.
And then see, I got Legend. I've been doing that, and I hit my max this morning on my honor. So I got my golden Drekthar this morning by hitting the cap on honor. I said 1400 on the last piece. So I'm now a Grand Marshal, I think is what it is.
Yeah. I'm about halfway up the ladder now. I think I was knight. I'm now whatever's after that, not lieutenant, or after, maybe even whatever's after not lieutenant. I can't remember.
Remember, you do have the entire expansion rotation, even past the mini set, until the next set and rotation happens.
Comes out in probably April.
So I like the honor system.
I do too. I like it a lot.
And I don't necessarily think they need to keep doing the honor system, but I'd like them to do, whenever they do promotions like this, I'd like them to do something like this every time. If they're going to put out...
It makes it... Okay, as a more casual player, it makes it feel like there's a reason to want to play ladder. Because previous to this, I have absolutely no reason at all to want to play constructed in standard. But now, when I have, other than doing, grinding out my daily quests, when I log in, I now have a reason to want to go play on the standard ladder, because I'm not only trying to grind out my dailies, but I'm trying to get honor to promote.
So when you promote, you're getting golden cards and you're unlocking rewards, right? And that's what you're looking forward to.
I mean, honestly, I'm looking more forward to that next honor promotion. Golden cards are just kind of meh to me because I disenchant them all.
But what's the benefit of the honor promotion other than getting
I actually see that promotion happening. I feel like I'm moving forward. That is more important to me than trying to get legend.
So here's my question. In Mercenaries, I've been enjoying a lot of PvP Mercenaries because as you hit each of the benchmarks, you get your rewards right then. Where in standard ladder or wild ladder, whichever way you go, whenever you hit those benchmarks, those ladder floors, they go into a chest to get at the end of the month. Would it be more beneficial to you if you were able to unlock those rewards and feel like you got something as soon as you hit each floor? Would that be like a similar compromise to how the honor system makes you feel?
It might encourage me to push more towards that, because as it stands right now, I don't really care at the end of the month. Like, I know what I'm getting usually is always the same thing. So if I got those rewards now and not getting them at the end of the month, it might push me to try to get to the next floor to get more rewards. But, because, I mean, if I got rewards at bronze 5 and then I got rewards at bronze 1 or, gold 10, whatever, or silver 10 and then silver 5 and then gold 10, if I'm getting rewards at each of those phases, it may push me to get to the next reward tier instead of going, oh, hey, we've upgraded what you're getting at the end of the month. We've upgraded what you're getting at the end of the month. We've upgraded.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I know what I'm getting, so why should I be excited about that?
Yeah, so, and that's what I was thinking, because when they first implemented the chess type benchmark rewards in Mercenaries, I was thinking the same thing, that we'd get them at the end of the month. But when we got them immediately, I was like, why don't we do this in Standard and Wild?
Yeah.
I mean, I play a duels. When I'm done with the duels, I get my rewards. I play arena. When I'm done with the arena, I get my rewards. Mercs, I get my rewards. But there's nothing until the end of the month for Standard and Wild. Maybe that is an outdated system that was good for its time that just needs to be updated.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, I have, let me talk about my week
Okay.
or my
Yeah.
time since we last recorded a little bit, because I feel like it kind of plays into this a little bit. So, in the last 2 weeks since we've recorded, I took vacation from both of my jobs, my full-time job and my part-time job. I've been off work since Christmas Eve.
Nice.
And I don't go back to work until this coming Monday, January the 3rd. In that time frame, I kind of just was looking to decompress from the previous year, and I wanted to really catch up on things that I may have missed, whether that was some shows that I'd been wanting to watch that were streaming on Netflix or Disney, or play some games that I had been wanting to play, that between Hearthstone and work and everything else, that I've just not had the time to put into.
Okay.
And so I took time off from everything that I normally do on a weekly basis. I haven't really played Hearthstone much outside of prepping, playing this deck to get ready for this week. I've not really played a whole lot of anything on the PC. I've actually been playing Spider-Man. I've been playing God of War on PS4. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've been trying to get in more game time on games that I've wanted to play, and how they handle, looking at how they handle in-game rewards. I also played probably the most RPG game that I've played in a long time, and that's Madden NFL 22. So
rip John Madden.
Rip John Madden.
Legend. Definitely a legend.
So 2021 ended with a loss of 2 legends, John Madden, and yesterday we lost Betty White. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't hear that.
You haven't heard?
Not about Betty White. That
Sorry you had to find out this way.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
We lost Betty White yesterday at age 99. 17 days shy of her 100th birthday. Which has thrown the whole world into chaos, because, People magazine has already published their 100th birthday celebration of Betty White. There's a documentary fixing to come out about the 100th birthday celebration of Betty White. So I'm almost positive the loss of Betty White is one of the heralds of the beginning of the end of the world.
I believe so. Cryptocurrency and Betty White are the two main heralds of the end of the world.
so anyway, I've taken this time to try to get in and figure out how other games are doing things. And I made a comment on social media about Madden NFL because I hadn't played a Madden game since 2014. I got on and started a franchise mode on this game, and it's more RPG than a lot of the Final Fantasy games I've played lately.
Yeah.
I mean, you really have to get in there and micromanage. You have to, your coaches have talent trees now, sort of like WoW. Your players upgrade with experience points. I mean, it's crazy. The systems that used to be specific to RPGs are now making their way into other mainstream titles, because Valhalla Assassin's Creed has a kind of progression system in it. Spider-Man has talent trees in it. I mean, seeing how the games all cross over now and seeing how that lends to development design into games like Hearthstone now, especially, in like mercenaries mode is really interesting to me, and that was kind of my big takeaway from this whole vacation that I've had is game development design has progressed so much in the last few years that most all games now are really almost the same genre.
Yes, and Madden is a perfect example of how nerds who were beat up in high school by jocks, get rich and make video games and take all the money from the jocks who buy Madden. And they're basically playing an RPG now, which they beat up the nerds for doing in our day.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's funny that Madden is so RPG based now. To be honest, I've played through a majority of the Maddens, and the early Maddens were literally just button mashers.
Mm-hmm.
And they started doing the Madden competitions and the traveling the United States and the Madden buses. They had to make it more progressive.
Well, don't get me wrong. Madden esports is still primarily, your team versus their team, and that's all about strategy because you're having to play offense and defense. That's all about strategy. What I'm talking about is like the online or single player franchise modes.
Oh, I agree, and that's what I was going to say. Is the longevity of the game with it being an esport? That's going to take the esports side of it. But if you want people to keep playing it at home, you have to build some kind of progression system. And
they've done a good job of it.
There's no better progression system so far what we've seen in RPGs than a tree-based skill system. And they've adapted that to Madden in the recent years, and it's been very popular. Madden was some of my favorite games to play when I was a console gamer. Yep. I don't console game so much anymore, so maybe I need to get back into it.
Yeah, that's one of my big takeaways. One of my resolutions for 2022 is I want to spend more time playing consoles than I have in the last few years. I want to kind of try to get away from PC gaming exclusively and get into a little more of the console world and check out some of the new titles and games that some of these non little indie developers that we've been playing the last few years have been working on. So
my New Year's resolution is to not make New Year's resolutions, which I already ruined by making this New Year's resolution.
There you go. You made it. You made it like 15 hours. Congratulations.
If that. Let's get into the news. There's not a lot of news. Mainly going to be discussion today.
Yes.
The big news is patch 22.0.2 went live just before Christmas on the 20th of December. Obviously, this is a little old news, but we do have some topics in here that are really important that we want to discuss how we've seen them kind of impact the game. So let's start with standard balance updates. The first card on here is they adjusted Celestial Alignment from 7 mana to 8 mana. Have you seen Celestial Alignment Druid since the new year? I know you haven't played a lot.
No, I have not. But when I have played, I have not seen this deck very much, which we try to do a good job on this podcast of keeping it out of the explicit category. Every once in a while, there is an F-bomb that will be dropped, and I think Celestial Alignment is one of those places because fuck Celestial Alignment. I am glad it got nerfed, and I am really happy I've been seeing it less and less.
So, good and bad of this nerf. The good is Celestial Alignment Druid kind of went away. which I didn't enjoy playing against it myself. The bad news is it made people that like to play Druid get a little bit more creative.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this new Guff Druid, which tops out at Guff is the highest costed card.
Which is like 5, right?
Which is 5.
Yeah.
So it's very fast and it ramps very fast. Now, it's not an aggressive deck necessarily, but it tops out at Guff so that there's the coal mine. It lets you discover, it lets you choose one, draw the highest or lowest cost card, and you always draw Guff with it. So it's pretty nasty. So I played it against it a few times. I've beaten it a few times. It's not as oppressive as Celestial Alignment, but I do like that there is some more creativity in Druid, and it's not a dead class.
Yeah. I can get behind that. Next up is a change to Alliance Bannerman. So this is a Paladin card. It was a 3-mana 2/2 battle cry. Draw a minion. Give minions in your hand +1/+1. The only change they made to this card was to lower its health by 1. And the dev comment on this is that Paladins have a very consistent, powerful package of cards that they can include in quite a few distinct strategies. Alliance Bannerman is one of those cards that fits into a wide range of decks. Lowering its health by 1 should tone down Paladin decks by a small amount across the board. I don't feel like this change matters at all. The fact that it was a 3-mana 2/2 to a 3-mana 2/1 doesn't mean anything. You only play it for the battle cry, right?
Yes, and this change doesn't impact that deck, which is the hand buff Paladin.
I feel like the draw a minion and then give all minions in your hand +1/+1 is the powerful part of this card.
Yes.
I think if you really want to make a change to this card, you take away the draw a minion effect.
Honestly, I think that's what I would have done with this is not allow you to draw a minion with it. You just give minions in your hand +1/+1. Because we've had successful hand buff cards before, and they didn't draw a minion.
Yeah.
So this, you're guaranteed to get +1/+1.
If
nothing else.
So I just feel like this was a complete miss on nerfing this card. It was complete waste of development time for what they did here.
I don't know if I would call it a miss, because the deck that this nerfed, which is hand buff Paladin, got a couple hits, and the fact that this one was soft makes a little sense because there's a more aggressive hit later that we'll talk about. This is still played. I'm even seeing it in Libram Paladin, which normally Libram Paladin doesn't run hand buffs, but I've seen Alliance Bannerman as like the only hand buff card in that deck.
Okay.
Because it draws. That's the important thing, is it draws you a minion, which can likely draw you one of your Libram reducers.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us about the next card.
So we have Efficient Octobot, which was a 2-mana 1/4 mech with Frenzy. Reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. It's now a 3-mana 1/4 with the same effect. The dev comments on this said Efficient Octobot has been a little too efficient at the upper echelons of play. We're slowing it down as part of the general goal of toning down the power level of combo strategies. There's a set of what Zacho on Vicious Syndicate was calling the Solitaire 5. There were 5 decks that were considered solitaire decks that you don't care what your opponent does, you just want to go for your combo, and that's it. This was one of them. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing Rogue play this version of Rogue, the bleeds, the combo Rogue. I forget what the deck was called, because this is 1 more mana, and it kind of slows that whole combo down by 1 turn. This is an effective nerf, and it's also opened up a lot of strategies. There's more of a Thief Rogue basis now, which Thief Rogue's a little easier to play against and has a less polarizing wins. a win rate across the board. So again, I like that some of these nerfs have opened up doors for other decks to come in and take their spot. I don't like it when a nerf happens and it destroys that class.
I think
So
this was a good nerf.
this was a successful nerf.
This
in my
needed to
opinion.
happen.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Snowfall Guardian. So this is a 6-mana 3/3 battlecry, freeze all other minions, gain +1/+1 for each frozen minion. So this is actually up 1 mana cost. It used to only cost 5, it now costs 6. And the comment here was that Snowfall Guardian was designed with the intent to give free shaman decks a powerful tool, but as with the previous card, it's a little too efficient at locking up the board, especially when combined with cards like Brilliant Macaw. So moving it up 1 mana should soften the power of the interaction, because Brilliant Macaw is also a 6 mana, right?
Yes.
So basically, previously you could play this on 5, Macaw on 6, and it locks up the board for 2 turns. So now it slows that down a little bit, that with them both being the same mana cost.
Yeah, I don't know how much this is gonna. I think that deck is kind of shifted away because the meta is going a little bit less board centric. And when it goes back to board centric, I think 6 mana for this is still going to be fine, especially if you couple it with elemental synergies that can reduce the cost of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Free Shaman's dead. I think Free Shaman wasn't the best way to play Shaman anyways. It was just the more consistent way to play. You could have the most consistent win rates. There's other Shaman decks that are coming out right now, specifically Elemental Shaman. And I don't know if Snowfall Guardian's in that list. Probably not. But once that aggressive style, proves unsuccessful, they'll probably go back to a free style, which I still play this at 6 mana.
Okay. All right. Tell us about the next card.
So we have Touch of the Nathrazim. It was a 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion. If it dies, restore 4 health to your hero, shadow spell. Now it's changed to same mana cost, same school. Deal 2 damage to a minion. If it dies, restore 3 health to your hero. And the dev comments here say Touch of the Nathrazim is meant to be a solid removal option for slower Warlock decks, but the overall health restoration in Warlock is slightly too high. This is meant to be a softer change that leaves Warlock with a powerful removal tool, but reduces overall Warlock healing capabilities enough to bring that aspect of the class back in line. This is still being played in that Quest Warlock, and I'm seeing Quest Warlock on the ladder. Now I'm not seeing a lot of the Owl OTK Warlock, because that deck got hit pretty hard, as we'll talk about here in the next few cards. And that deck is almost dead, but this is still played in that Quest Warlock, and it's still a good deck. It's not amazing, but it's good.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you say the next few cards, but really it's this next card that really hit that deck hard, and that's the Runed Mithril Rod, which got basically it used to be a 4 mana weapon. It's now a 5 mana. Of course, after you draw 4 cards, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. So this card got, it was in a pretty sweet spot at 4 when you were trying to play all the cards, to go off on this OTK combo. And so by going up 1, it makes it a little more awkward. You don't have quite enough mana to do everything you want to do. And that's what the dev comments basically states, that Rune Mithril Rod was an incredibly strong tool in the first few days of the launch of Fractured and Alterac Valley. Players were able to find a counter in cards like Rustrot Viper, but we believe going up 1 mana will lead to a healthier play pattern for the game overall.
Healthier meaning it's not being played at all. It's a dead card. And at 5 mana, it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, 1 mana is not much." 1 mana is a lot for an effect like this.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and take the next card, and then I'm going to leave the card after that for you. So next up, we had Blood Cell Deckhand. So this was a 1 mana 2/2, which was really strong early. They are adjusting it to be a 1 mana 2/1. And basically, the comment is, we're reverting the previous change to Blood Cell Deckhand. Questline Warrior ended up slightly stronger than intended, and we believe it will continue to find success after this change. So basically, it was a 2/1. They changed it to a 2/2. Now they're changing it back to a 2/1. So
yeah, we've seen this. This isn't so much a nerf; it's a buff reversion.
Yeah,
they buffed it to make it more playable. Then it became the best deck, and then they're just putting it back where it was. And I think this is a good change. It's still played. It's pivotal in that deck, and it's a good card.
Yeah. So, all right. Next up, and I'm going to let you talk about this because we focused really hard on this a few weeks ago in one of the decks, and we had talked about how incredible this card was. So, take it away, Zerotio.
So, Iron Deep Trog is a 1 mana 1/2. After your opponent casts a spell, summon a copy of this. So the only thing that's changing is it's going to say, after your opponent casts a spell, summon another Iron Deep Trog. So what this means, especially in Hand Buff Paladin, if you play Iron Deep Trog and put buffs on it with Taunt and Divine Shield and increase its stats, and your opponent plays a spell that doesn't kill the Iron Deep Trog, it's only going to summon a 1/2 regular version of it. It's not going to copy all those buffs.
Correct.
When it creates it, which was the oppressive part of it in specifically Paladin, which coupled with the other, the Bannerman or the Banana Man, as the EU casters like to call him, this makes this deck really difficult to play. Now, I'm still seeing Hand Buff Paladin being viable and playable, but Iron Deep Trog is not in that list. They've taken Iron Deep Trog out, which honestly I think is probably good for that deck because it was too strong in its previous incarnation. However, in decks like Aggressive Druid, it's still good because all you care about is the bodies, not their stat, not their enchantments that are on them.
Right.
So I think this is a successful nerf.
I agree.
I'm glad they made it.
Just the fact that there were times when your opponent could play an Iron Deep Trog, and the only recourse you have is to concede on 2 or 3 is just,
or 1. I've had people concede on turn 1.
Yeah, so this was a much needed, healthy change for the game.
Now, the reason I still like this card is this. I believe the reason Iron Deep Trog is the stats and the mana. A lot of people said they need to make it 2 mana. I think it's important to have it at 1 mana. Why? Because if you are facing a quest deck and you are on the play, meaning they have the coin and you're going first, you play this, it makes them make a decision. Do I play my quest and have to deal with 2 1/2s? Or do I slow play and figure out a way to clear that minion before
I play my quest?
Yeah. And that is what I think Iron Deep Trog is meant to do. Now, that doesn't involve any buffs or copying Librams or anything like that. All that does is it's a form of disruption on turn 1, and I think that's healthy. The way it was used in Buff Paladin was not healthy.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have the Moarg Artificer. Basically, this was a 2 mana, 2/4 minion. All minions take double damage from spells. Everybody knows this card. It was prevalent in Demon Hunter. So this is now being changed to a 3 mana, 2/5. So they increased the mana cost and they increased the health. And the comment here was that the Artificer does too much. too efficiently for decks with large amounts of removal. Increasing its cost by 1 will make the card a little less efficient as a tool and large amounts of life gain and combo finisher. So they're hoping that, again, like they did with Runed Mithril Rod, that by increasing it by 1, it will kind of keep the deck from just going off all in a single turn. Have you noticed any change in OTK Demon Hunter with this since you've been playing?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think this is the most impactful nerf in this entire patch because it killed OTK Demon Hunter and it killed Owl TK Warlock. Those two decks used Artificer prevalently to stay alive or have a combo finisher, and adding an extra mana to this just crippled both of those decks because now you have to either reduce your cost of your hand, which is even harder now with Mithril Rod being increased in cost, or you have to find a way to add up enough mana to pull off the combo properly. And even with all the even if you use Questline Demon Hunter to reduce the cost, if you don't hit the Moarg or its pieces properly, you might not be able to successfully pull off your combo early enough to win the game. You might still be able to do it in like 9 or 10, but a lot of those decks were wanting to win on like 7 and 8, and now they can't.
Okay. All right. So alongside these changes, there were also a couple of adjustments, or buffs, as we say in the community, at powering up some other decks and hero powers. So first up, there was a change to Beast Stalker Tavish. So his hero power, Summon Pet, was 3 mana, summon an animal companion. So they've adjusted this down to 2 mana, summon an animal companion. Now, there is a deck out there which is Quest Beast Stalker Tavish, basically, where if you play everything in the right order, you can get this hero power to 0 and summon an infinite amount of animal companions. Have you you actually are the one that told me about that deck.
Yeah, and this buff doesn't impact that at all because it doesn't always impact that. You weren't trying to get a 0 cost summon pet hero power. In some matchups you pushed for that because that was the only way you were going to win, but in other matches you were just trying to win off the quest, and then you had your secrets as kind of like a stopgap, and then you finished it off with the summon pet ability. When we saw this card, I think I remember saying that 3 cost is fair because Animal Companion, when it was in core,
cost
3. However, with hero cards, you don't want fair. Seriously, you don't want to pay the going rate for something. You want to pay a reduced rate. That's why it makes it a good card. Mm-hmm. So having this be 2 mana like a normal hero power, but still get the effect of a 3 mana spell endlessly because it's not taking a deck slot other than the hero card, that to me is good. And I've seen some people playing some Tavish decks now, and they're still not great. And some people say, well, it's only good if you get Huffer. That's not entirely true, because there are times that you need the taunt, or you need Leok, or you need to stack up that extra damage. So I like that it's 2 mana. I hope it makes Tavish more playable. I haven't had a chance to play it since it's been changed to 2 mana. We'll just have to see. But it's a good change.
I agree. I've actually managed to pull off the 0 mana summon pet rapid fire.
Yeah, I have too.
A couple of times, and it's a lot of fun.
And see, at that point, people are like, well, you want to just get Huffer. That's not true.
No.
Because if you get a couple Huffers, but then you start getting Leoks, the Leoks are buffing the Huffers. So
right.
After a while, the first 4 Huffers are fine, but then you want a Leok because that's buffing all the Huffers you have 4 more damage each. So yeah, it's pretty nutty when you could pull it off, because all you need to do is cast spells that do damage and don't take up any board space. So that board space is just prime real estate for all those huffers. I mean, yeah, huffers. That's what you want. You want huffers.
So then the next 3 cards that are getting buffs are all in the deck we're going to be playing today. And I think that was...
they are.
And they say, they're hoping to power up some slower mage decks, and I think they've succeeded. So,
they have.
First up, we have Gray Sage Parrot. So this was an 8-mana 6/6 minion with the battle cry, repeat the last spell you cast that costs 5 or more. It's now a 6-mana 4/5. So they reduce the mana cost by 2 and reduce the attack by 2 and the health by 1. This card is suddenly everywhere, Zerotio.
And it's amazing. You think, you don't really, you're paying 6 mana, but you haven't even played those 7 and 8 cards. No, you play this later, so you have room to maybe at 10 mana, you play this using your mask.
Yep.
Maybe it replays your mask, and then you have 4 mana to throw a Varden up for it to stop any minions that didn't get killed by the mask, or you have 4 mana to then, use your apprentice or use your hero power or something else. I mean, that gives you flexibility, and this card is amazing at 6 mana.
Yes, it is. So, next up, we have Magister Dawn Grasp, one of the new hero cards. So this had been an 8-mana spell with the hero power, deal 1 damage, honorable kill, gain plus 2 damage. Well, they've reduced the mana cost from 8 to 7, and they've increased the amount of damage it deals. So now it's deal 2 damage, honorable kill, gain plus 2 damage.
Yeah, which is a little more impactful. And a reminder, this isn't a spell, it's a hero card.
Correct.
So you don't get confused. If you draw a spell, you're not going to draw this. But the fact that it bases at 2, and the next card, which we'll talk about in a minute, impacts it.
I just want to say, I have been in a game where the opposing Magister Dawn Grasp was hitting me for 8 every turn with their hero power.
I've been there. One thing to note is if you're playing an opponent that is board-based and you play Magister Dawn Grasp, then you play Apprentice, which uses your hero power on every minion and your opponent's face.
Yes.
Every enemy. Every minion that's honorably killed increases that damage. And if that damage happened before it goes face, it will increase and ramp up throughout the use of the Apprentice.
Yeah.
So I got a surprise lethal off that one. I was like, well, I'm like 2 damage short on lethal. And then I hit a couple honorable kills, and all of a sudden I had lethal. I was like, oh, okay. That's how that works.
Yeah. And the last card that got a buff was Wildfire. So basically, the old was increase the damage of your hero power by 1. But now it says increase the damage of your hero power by 1 this game.
So if you've played it twice, then your Dawn Grasp is going to start out at a minimum of 4 and may play another Wildfire as part of its battle cry.
Yes.
So there's many times I played Dawn Grasp and the hero power's just been 5 right off the gate.
Yeah, it's really good. So
this deck, and we'll talk more about it when we talk about the deck in the second half of the show. This deck is fun and effective. Now, I was playing a kind of a low to the ground, as low as it can be with the 8 mana minion, but a low to the ground hero power mage that had Dawn Grasp in it.
Yeah. And
the version we're playing tonight is more of a big spell hero power. And I think I like the big spell one better.
Yesterday on Twitter, hsreplay.net asked, what deck will most remind you of Hearthstone in 2021? And I thought about it, and over the last few months, at least since the release of Mordresh Fire Eye, I've played a lot of Hero Power Mage in one form or another. Yeah. And here we are playing it again. And so that's what I ended up having to reply was like,
again,
Hero Power Mage, obviously.
We're a little biased because our show is called Hero Power.
Yeah, Dano called me out on that on Twitter. It was
the very first set we got to reveal on our podcast was TGT, which had the Inspire mechanic which I thought was because when we started the show, we didn't know about the next set. We speculated. And then when they came out with the next set, the grand tournament, and then they said,
those of you who have listened since then know Zerotio picked Pirates versus Ninjas.
Yes, I did. I will eventually be right. That might be a Merc set. Who knows? But no, the Inspire mechanic was the mechanic for TGT. We were like, wow, the very first set we're revealing has to do with hero powers. This is going to be awesome. Of course, the Inspire mechanic was horrible, but the show Hero Power enjoyed it because we like things that work with your hero power. So just looking at the standard balance changes, both the nerfs and the buffs, do you think this was a successful patch, knowing that we were going into probably a good solid 2 weeks where we wouldn't have any balance changes because of the holidays?
I do. I felt like they did a really good job of getting this out before they went on break, and I felt like these were good, impactful changes.
See, my worry was that it would impact the meta too much, and knowing that we won't have any changes to the meta for 2 weeks and have to live with this through the holidays. We've had that happen before with events and balance changes, and it's really negatively impacted the holiday season. But fortunately, it didn't. Now, we do have some more updates here. We have Battlegrounds updates that are, a few things in here we're not going to go into. Mercenaries, the only real change is all heroic level 30 bounties will include at least one pile of legendary coins chosen from the selection of coins designated for each bounty. That's a good change. It's not really that impactful. It only ends up being about 10 to 15, I think it's 10 or 15 coins for a legendary. And heroic bounties at level 30 are really hard, so I'm not sure how impactful that is. Arena, Abominable Lieutenant is no longer draftable in Arena. It was pretty much a meta killer. Everybody was taking that. And then we have some bug fixes and improvements.
Yeah, which will all be in our show notes on the website at heropowerhs.com.
I do want to make sure to point out that the base version of the Drekthar and Vandar are now eligible for full dust refunds.
Yeah.
So we will be doing a separate update later on the patch to grant additional Arcane Dust players who already disenchanted either card. I already disenchanted mine. So hopefully I'll get that Vandar. I already did the Vandar. Drekthar I hadn't gotten yet. So that's a
let's take a minute and let's I already kind of basically talked about how much I enjoyed Hearthstone in 2021. I played a lot of Hero Power Mage. I played a lot of Battlegrounds and absolutely loved every minute of it. What was Hearthstone like for you in 2021, Zerotio?
It was everything. I mean, I've always been a very dedicated standard player. Duels I've dabbled in, and I enjoy the change of pace. Battlegrounds has been really huge. I've gotten better at it and been enjoying it more. We now have Mercenaries. Every style of game that I want to sit and play for a long period of time, I can do in Hearthstone. Mm-hmm. I used to find myself playing Hearthstone, and then I would go do something else, or I would dedicate a block of time to something like Marvel Strike Force, because I didn't have that fix that I got on a Marvel Strike Force in Hearthstone. Well, now I do with Mercenaries. So I'm finding myself neglecting other games for Hearthstone. Now, I do hope that this is all for the new game modes, because I'm a little new game mode out. I want them to refine the current game modes we have. But I'm loving Hearthstone in 2021. I'm revitalized. They're changing the competitive scene next year, so I feel like I might be able to start competing again. I love Hearthstone, and through all the drama of everything going on at Blizzard and a lot of the politics and behind the scenes stuff that's happening in esports, and as well as the developmental teams in Blizzard, that all sucks. But it seems as if the Hearthstone team is handling it well and profiting, for lack of a better term, and they're really pushing forward through all the bad parts of being a developer within the Blizzard, Blizzard Activision sphere. But other than that, I think Hearthstone's in a great spot, and I'm really excited to see what they do next year.
What are you hopeful for the most in 2022?
More mercenaries. and I say that with a little bit of tongue in cheek, because there are a lot of players and content creators that don't like mercenaries, and have even gone out on record saying if Team 5 stopped doing mercenaries content, it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
And I am the opposite. I love mercenaries. I love the time of play fills a different need for me. It's when I'm sitting on my phone but don't want to play on the ladder and don't want to risk my rank or anything. I might drop connection. I'll just play some mercenaries. It's a time killer for me. And when I want to sit at my desk and actually, focus on playing Hearthstone, that's when I can play Battlegrounds and Duels and Standard. But when I'm at my work on break, or I'm on lunch, or I'm out with the family and we're waiting for our table or something, I can just do some mercenaries, and I love it. So I'd like to see more mercenaries content. I like to see not just mercs, not just mercenaries released, but more additions to the game mode for quality of life. And then I'm really kind of curious. I think they knocked 2021 out of the park with the theme of the sets. And I'm really curious to see what they have in store for us for 2022, because I think the whole Horde, then Alliance, then the Battlegrounds of Alterac Valley, and we haven't even seen the mini set yet. We kind of knew with Barons what the mini set would be. We knew with Stormwind most likely what the mini set would be, one of two different instances. What about Alterac Valley? We don't know. I don't think we've even speculated on it, which we'll probably do in the next couple weeks. I'm really excited to see what they do with 2022 with the type of content.
Yeah. I'm really excited going into 2022, knowing that we're going to get some legitimate Battlegrounds esports coming up with the Battlegrounds tournament. And that's something I'm really excited for, and I'm hopeful that it grows. And I hope it's popular, I hope it catches on, and I hope it grows with people, and we see more Battlegrounds content in the new year. The other thing that I'm really hopeful for in 2022 is I hope we finally see a huge nerf to Activision with the removal of Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, I mean, we all have that New Year's resolution, is fire Bobby Kotick. Again, I've had my feelings on it, and I've talked about here that I think it's going to be hard to get a true firing of Bobby Kotick. Sure, he might step down in some of his duties, but he's always going to collect that paycheck. Not that I want him to, but it's his cash cow. He's going to figure out a way to still collect money from it. And if he's collecting money from it, he's going to find some way to influence the way the company's run. Hopefully, I do know a lot of other game developed companies and manufacturers are taking stands against Activision Blizzard King over Bobby Kotick specifically.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to have to see if that can work out best for the employees, the developers, and ultimately for the players.
Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of people say that the players aren't directly involved. It's how the devs and the employees are being mistreated, and they're 100% correct. However, that does go back to the players, because if the developers and the employees don't want to work or they start striking, you're not going to have content. Now, we're a slight exception on Hearthstone for some reason, because even though they've been staging the walkouts and all this stuff, Hearthstone content's been created. However, Diablo and World of Warcraft content has stalled.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever they're doing on Team 5 is working, because it's making those devs on those teams passionate to keep putting things out for their players. But I think we are an exception to the rule in Hearthstone, and the other player bases of the other games are suffering right now. And ultimately, fire Bobby Kotick is the best way to solve everything.
Yeah. So the other thing I really want to talk about real quick before we move into the deck discussion portion of the show is the last couple days on Twitter has really kind of divided the Hearthstone community over stream sniping. Stream sniping is something that's happened for a long time, and Jay Alexander recently just put out a tweet where he caught, I mean, not really caught, because Jay wasn't really hiding it, the fact that he was stream sniping to try to get High Legend to qualify for Masters Tour.
Mm-hmm.
And it blows my mind at the amount of people out there willing to defend stream sniping as an actionable thing just because people are choosing to stream their games on Twitch. And I want to say huge kudos to Blizzard for taking action on this and banning Jay from being able to compete in any Hearthstone-related esports activities for 4 months. Now, we could debate all day long on whether or not 4 months is a long enough time to be banned.
It's something.
It's something. And that's better than nothing. And I am very, very happy for what we saw take place. I can't understand how people are still out there trying to defend this activity. But, Zerotio, what are your thoughts on stream sniping and the whole ordeal in general?
So stream sniping is bad. I will say this. As a competitive esports player that chooses to stream, that is a risk you take. Now, I'm not condoning sniping. All I'm saying is, if you are competing and trying to qualify for Worlds or qualify for Masters Tours or whatnot, and you choose to stream your content, your practice sessions, and what decks you're going to be doing, then that is a risk you need to think about. Because it is something that happens, and it happens regularly. Now, there are tools Blizzard has put in place, and Team 5 has put in place, where you can, I think there's a keyboard shortcut, Crip uses it, so it doesn't show your name or your opponent's name when you're streaming, and people do their layouts to cover up certain areas, and those are all good tools to use, but ultimately it is a risk you take. Now, enforcing punishment for stream sniping is difficult because you have to prove it. Now, somebody like Jay Alexander, who broadcasts it, should be punished. And
you mean Jay Wong? Jay Wong.
Jay Wong. Yeah, not Jay. Jay Alexander brought up the
he
post.
called it out.
Jay Alexander brought up the post. Jay Wong is who was actually punished. I don't think you were real clear on that. Jay Wong, who pretty much, broadcasts, and he's had a lot of allegations brought against him of sexism and things like that, but we're not going to go into all that.
Right.
The fact that he was bragging about stream sniping to qualify, then those type of things need to be enforced, need to be punished. Now, the 4-month, I think, is fine because that is a full expansion cycle. By the time he gets to compete again, it's going to be a whole nother expansion come out. And
it'll
he's
be
going to
May. It'll be May before he can even think about trying to compete.
He'll have to relearn the meta. The cards will change. The meta will change. There'll be a full rotation. So right now is probably his peak time of playing because he knows the meta the most. He's not going to be able to compete. So I think this is, and it's Jay Wong. It was Jay Alexander who brought out, who made sure that the knowledge was brought to light. It was Jay Wong who was doing it incorrectly. Jay Wong needed to be punished, in my opinion, for more reasons than that, but he was. And it's a precedence that A-Bar is setting as the lead of esports for Hearthstone, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
The problem is, if I am Joe Schmo or if I'm Zerotio wanting to come up the ladder and qualify for these Masters Tours, I can make a anonymous account on Twitch, and I can go to HS Replay, put in the deck that my opponent's playing, and it'll show me popular streamers that are playing that deck. I click on that stream, within seconds, I am at their stream through HS Replay. So that's another thing. If you're using HS Replay while you stream, that is how people are finding you, even if you have the safety thing that doesn't show your name. That's how they're finding you. And so there's tools out there that people are using that are being used against them for stream snipers. And it's really easy. So a lot of times, if I'm playing against somebody on ladder and they rope the first turn all the way out, they're not being a jerk. They're searching me up on the internet, seeing if I'm streaming any of my games. I'm almost positive of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see somebody that's roping you out, they're looking for your name, they're searching your deck, or they're playing Mage. They'll see what Mage decks are being streamed via HS Replay. And all this takes 30, 45 seconds, which the first turn rope is what, 70 seconds?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty of time to do it. I'd like to think there needs to be better ways to identify sniping, but it's really difficult to do, especially if they have tools like HS Replay, which pretty much broadcasts that you're streaming. You know, even if you're a no-name streamer with 2 viewers, you might still get sniped because you're using HS Replay, which I'm now using Firestone. And as far as I'm aware, Firestone doesn't have a tool like that. So that's just that's my little rant on the subject. Do you have anything else you wanted to add on that subject?
No, that pretty much is it. So
I have one more thing before we move to the deck. When do you think we get the next content patch, which would be 20.2? You think we get announced this week?
Let's see. No, I think well, it might be announced towards the end of this week, around the 6th or 7th. I don't think we'll see anything until around the middle of the month.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they need to get back on schedule. So the mini set's probably going to be, what, 6 weeks out at this point? Or maybe 5 weeks out with the holiday?
Let's see. The mini set usually comes out, what, a month and a half before the new set is announced?
Before the new set comes out.
Okay, so that if the new set doesn't come out until the 1st of April, that would put it the middle of February before we get the mini set.
That's what, 5-6 weeks?
About 7 or 8, probably.
Well, 8's a full 2 months.
1, 2, 3, 4 puts us in the last week of January. 5, 6 puts us the 8th of February. I would 7 weeks puts us around the 15th of February, and I
So
think that's
7 weeks maybe.
I think that's a relatively possible time. Somewhere
And
around the 15th of the 22nd.
So if that's what we're saying is a mini set, which is most likely going to be the 20.4 patch, because the mini sets come out either 0.4 or 0.6, depending.
Tuesday, February 22nd, the most important thing that could happen on that day.
You do not want content out on that day. That's your anniversary. Honey, gotta stop everything.
Okay, you're right. Let's push it to Wednesday the 23rd.
No. I mean, my wife is probably more understanding than your wife, but she'd be like, okay, well, we're going to celebrate it Friday anyways. So that being said, I think we're going to get an announcement at the 20.2 patch, which usually involves Battlegrounds content and probably some mercenaries. I think we're going to get that probably the end of this week, so 7th, and might even have a patch as early as the 11th. Okay. And then that's going to start, then we'll have the normal meta stuff a week or two after that. We might have some balance changes for Battlegrounds. And then a week or two after that's the announcement and prep for the 20.4 patch, which would be the mini set. Most likely, because 20.6 is usually another balance filler patch. 20.8 is the pre-patch for the set. And then 21.0 would be the new, I'm saying 20 and it should be 22, but you know what I mean? Yeah. The dot aught. So 22.2, I think we're probably a week away.
Okay.
Which is, man, we just got into 2022 and things are going to start firing in Hearthstone. I'm excited. Speaking of firing, how about we wildfire some?
Yeah, let's talk about this deck list that we've been hinting at all show, the Rune Wildfire Mage. So this deck list, like I said, is from Vicious Syndicate's website. So I'll run down the deck list and then we'll talk about it a little bit before we switch over to play it. So the deck is 2 Shivering Sorceress, 2 Wildfire, 2 Amplified Snow Flurry, 1 Arcanologist, 2 Ice Barrier, 2 Deepwater Evoker, 2 Fire Sail, 2 Reckless Apprentice, 1 Varden Dawngrasp, 2 Arcane Overflow, 1 Talon Fordring, 2 Grey Sage Parrots, 2 Clumsy Couriers, 1 Magister Dawngrasp, 2 Mask of Cthulhu, 1 Mass Polymorph, 1 Mordrish Fire Eye, and 2 Rune of the Archmage. So, Zerotio, you and I have both played this deck quite a few times now. I know you had said you had some thoughts on changes, but what do you like about this deck and what do you not like about this deck?
So I love this hero power, first off. I was able to get a total of 3 Mask of Cthulhu's off for a win once.
Wow.
I'm not a big fan of Rune of the Archmage, but I did one game get 4 Rune of the Archmages off. And the Prime. I generated the Prime and had it for 9 mana. That won me the game. I also had a Rune of the Archmage that cast 2 Mask of Cthulhu's in 1 casting.
Okay.
So I do love kind of the pulling a win out of your rear end style of play with this game, with this deck. I'm not sold on the Mass Polymorph. I'm also not sold that it needs 2 Rune of the Archmage, because Rune of the Archmage can draw really dead.
So the other version of this deck that I was playing, which was Orange's original list off of Twitter, was not running Mass Polymorph, but it was running 2 Rune of the Archmage.
Okay. I mean, I kind of see... there are times I want more than one, but then I can.
Well,
I can kind of.
I think one of the big things is being able to play Rune of the Archmage without casting it.
You're talking about off of Clumsy
Clumsy
Courier.
Courier. Yeah.
That's another card that confuses me in here because if you Clumsy Courier out your Mask of Cthulhu, it doesn't go on the stack for your Magister Dawn Grasp. It also doesn't go on the stack for you to be able to cast it with Grey Sage Pair. So you have to be very careful what you Clumsy Courier. Because then you won't be able to use it with your other thing. Now, Rune of the Archmage is the prime candidate for Clumsy Courier because you usually don't want to Grey Sage Parrot another Rune of the Archmage. Sometimes you do, but usually you don't. And then furthermore, Rune of the Archmage doesn't get replayed by Magister Dawn Grasp anyways because it doesn't have a school. So you don't have to worry about Rune of the Archmage messing up your Dawn Grasp turn. That's one thing that I do like.
Right.
Though with this deck, as we have it listed on the show, I am 8-3 today with it.
Yeah. I've not played it today, so I'm gonna be driving, and we're gonna be starting at Bronze 10.
Yeah. See, I've gotten all the way up into Platinum just playing this deck today, and I'm 8-3 with it. It's pretty spread. I've played every class against every class except for Demon Hunter, and it seems my version of the Hero Power Mage did well against Pirate Warrior. This one so far I'm 0-2 versus Pirate Warrior, but it's the only losing record I have.
Yeah.
I'm 1-1 versus Mage, but I had a mirror match and they just top decked me. So I don't really count that as a loss so much. That was just they were literally playing, I think, the exact same deck. Right. All the cards look the same to me. So I'm liking this so far. Again, very small sample size. I've only got 11 games with it, which if you know me from watching the show, I don't call it proper testing unless I've got 100 games with it.
Right.
Which I will probably finish out the rest of those 100 games by the end of the weekend. Yeah. So we'll talk more about it later.
Okay, well, we're going to go play this a few games. So if you are joining us on YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. You can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we will see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your Hero Power for as much as 8 damage. Crazy.
Alrighty. So yeah, we're gonna go play this deck a few.
The first of the month, so you're driving.
I am going to drive. As you can see, I have both versions here queued up. I've been playing both, so.
Okay, so before you hit play, you are running Khadgar.
Yes.
Okay.
Mainly because Khadgar was set as my favorite, and I've not actually looked to see what all new I have now that
you have Varden. You have 2 different Vardens. And this deck, is Varden. Now I'm using Celeste. But I've thought about changing to Varden because I like the idea. Varden is great.
We should change to
I love
Varden.
their style. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's
the most important part
that could be the difference in win or loss.
Exactly. So now we can go ahead and queue up. Okay. That works whatever way you want to do it. But we are going to play another one.
Oh, we're going to play a couple more. We're going to play. Yeah. We're going to get our best 2 out of 3 in.
Geralt.
All right. So we are up against a shaman.
possibly a shaman.
Yeah.
I've seen the name Geralt on the ladder before, and I think he probably is playing shaman, or they probably are playing shaman.
So, do we want to keep the Snow Flurry, the Arcanologist, and the Ice Barrier, or do we throw back
Well,
Ice Barrier?
there's no reason to keep Ice Barrier if we keep an Arcanologist,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
So I think we just keep Snow Flurry and Arcanologist, throw back the Ice Barrier and the Courier.
We got Varden and Rune. All right. So he is going to command the elements.
So this is shaman.
Yeah.
He's going questline shaman.
Do we go ahead and coin Arcanologist or Snow Flurry here on one?
I think coining the Snow Flurry is probably good. It gives us a 2/3 body. It gives him a target for some of his overload cards, but if he plays a minion into it, we can ping. We don't want to ping this turn though.
Right, yeah.
We can ping to freeze it if he plays a minion into it. Doesn't? Oh, perfect minion to be able to ping. I think we just Arcanologist. Do we just swing face and don't bother about pinging that?
That's what I'm thinking. We save the ping.
I think so. I don't think it's worth killing a 1/1 over.
Lady Vosh.
That is in the deck. Okay. You want to minimize your BattleNet launcher? I can see your beautiful face. There we go.
There you go.
So we can Ice Barrier ping. If we Shivering Sorceress, that reduces our rune, but that there's nothing else to do with the 2 mana.
Yeah.
So I think we Ice Barrier, ping the Vosh, then we just go face since it's frozen, because we don't want to give her that, give Geralt that death rattle yet.
Okay.
Keeping that 1/1s alive is kind of important because of Arcane Overflow. That's good. His health isn't really that important.
All right, so turn 4. Do we just Varden here and go face?
Varden, I think I want to trade into the 6/2 though.
Okay. So should we trade first?
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I trade the 6/2 as a 2/3 and then Varden.
Okay.
It sets us up for a good Arcane Overflow next turn. We can do it on the 1/1 if we want.
Yeah.
And then trade into
I was actually thinking about
Vosh.
just overflowing Vosh, but that...
We can. I mean, that just that gives us a
6/6
instead of a 7/7. That's fine. 5/5.
Well, okay. Now I think we trade Varden into the 4/3 and we overflow the 1/1.
I like that. And it puts the overflow on the stack for Dawngrasp.
Yeah.
We probably want to fit in Wildfire next turn.
Yep.
So if we Wildfire and Sorceress next turn, that means we'll have Dawngrasp on 7, a Rune of the Archmage on 8, and another Rune on 9.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even notice they were running Cthulhu.
I didn't either. I didn't see the Cthulhu at the beginning.
I don't remember seeing it either. Ooh, clumsy. I think we Wildfire, Shivering, ping phase. Or we can ping off the O2. I guess it can be a problem later.
Yeah.
Dawngrasp is going to play what? Wildfire and
Overflow.
Overflow. Okay.
What do you think about trading the Sorceress into the 3/3 first so that we get a 7/7 instead of a... Well, no, he's going to kill it. Okay.
He's gonna kill it.
We might still get a 7/7 if the overflow hits one of the 1/1s.
We might. Let's see how he develops. If he does anything more, develops wide, we might want a courier.
Okay, I wouldn't hate that.
He's freezing the draw. Nah, he's not developing any further. We might even courier on 8. We'll see. Mass polymorph, that might be useful later. A dog grasp?
Yeah, I think we just Dawn Grasp.
Yeah. Oh, and we got the ice barrier. That's
yeah.
Right. Okay, so we got us a 7/7. So we're up to 4 damage, I think.
4 damage. Yeah. Yep.
So he has to be careful what he develops. He doesn't want to develop anything with 4 health.
Yeah.
Lightning bolt or Serpentine portal.
Yeah.
That might give us a 4 health minion.
It does. Ha
Which he is probably like, oh no. Do we trade the fire sale?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Because if we're gonna ping that, then we're not planning to.
Oh, what was the last?
It was the
Arcane Overflow, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd rather ping the 4/4 and then pass.
Okay.
Because I'd rather Grey Sage runes.
Okay. So, do we cast the 9 mana runes next turn?
I think we'll need to cast the 9 mana runes. Because if we clumsy courier it, then we won't get runes.
Yeah.
Let's see how he develops into it, though. I mean, if he doesn't really develop anything, Grey Sage is probably just as good. Because it's a known outcome.
And then we can hero power his face.
Yeah. Or hero power minion, and then make sure to overflow a specific minion. Because overflow says enemy minion.
There's Ibis.
Ooh.
Mass Polymorph?
Mass Polymorph. I don't hate that.
Or do we do the original runes play and see what the randomness has?
What's he got? 10 attack?
Let's go. We're at 41.
Yeah, let's go with the runes. Let's go with the 9 mana runes. Deep Freeze is good. Hit Ibis. Nope, didn't hit Ibis. Grand Finale, good. Another Wildfire.
Yeah.
Counterspell's really good. Because that'll counterspell an overload card, possibly. So he doesn't go to the next spot.
Okay. That wasn't terrible.
That wasn't terrible, no. And he's probably going to run the 10/9 into the 8/8.
Yeah.
And we got a counterspell, so yeah.
So there's Brucon.
Man, this is like everything shaman. It's like all the different shamans in one. It's elemental shaman, it's quest shaman, it's Brucon shaman. Okay, they're hitting us in the face.
Summoning 2/3.
Summon 2/3s.
So you gonna go face with that 10/9 now?
I mean, I would. So the question is, do we mass polymorph here or do we pair it?
I think we pair it.
I think we pair it too, actually. Because we could deal with this board with association with our ping, because we have what? A 7 damage ping?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pair it. Because these target.
Oh, yes, yes!
Mask, perfect. Oh, do one more damage. Coda Coal, perfect. If that leaves it at 7.
Nope, it didn't.
Okay. That's still fine.
It took it down to 1, though.
2 masks. We got 2 masks.
We got 2 masks, I know.
It does not happen often. So we will. Did we want to ping it?
I think so. We want to do the damage to face with minions as much as possible.
Yeah, but I was just wondering if one of those water elementals wouldn't have been worth an extra 4 damage.
So he's repeating the last battle cry he played.
Which was Brucon.
Yeah.
He's still dead.
Yeah, I think he is.
He got another Macaw, maybe?
He's still got 7 mana to do something.
Maybe he has another Macaw?
He can summon 2 more taunts.
Yeah. If that's what he does, do we just Grey Sage again?
I don't hate it.
Dunk
tank. So that's going to clear. Oh, no, that's going to get countered.
Counter spell. Yes. Yes. So we got lethal.
Yeah. And then we drew the Reckless Apprentice.
That was a good game. That was a good game. I only had one game against Shaman, so good to see that.
Yeah.
And that was like a kitchen sink Shaman.
It really was.
Like he had Elemental Shaman, he had the quest. Why would you run? I guess the quest doesn't interrupt with Brucon's hero power.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems weird.
Yeah, I would have totally played that Reckless Apprentice over anything else just because.
Yeah. 7 damage Reckless Apprentice. Sick.
All right, so we got Shivering Sorceress, Amplified Snow Flurry, and Grey Sage Parrot. So obviously we're going to throw back the Parrot.
I always keep Sorceress just in case I draw into Mask.
Yeah. So do we
Amplified,
just keep Sorceress and Snow Flurry?
I like Snow Flurry versus Hunter, if this is Hunter. But I also like it against Rogue.
Okay.
So I like it. Because having a Snow Flurry early...
And we drew into Mask.
Drew into Mask. That's why I keep Sorceress. So now we have a turn 6 Mask.
Yeah.
So we just Sorceress on 1.
Okay.
So we got a 1 curve, a 2 curve. Figure out 3. We got 4. Figure out 5. We got 6.
Yeah.
And 4 might draw us our Overflow. Deepwater Evoker might draw us our Overflow, which gives 5. Great. Coin.
Demon Companion.
This is good. Ooh. So we Snow Flurry and ping the 4/2?
Yep. And then we trade the 2/2 into the 1/2, and we end the turn.
So we're setting things up. He's probably going to want to play a lot of small minions, Walpotingers, or stuff like that. And then we're setting up for an apprentice turn.
Yeah. So
that's a great turn for us.
Playing Imprisoned Felmaw.
Oh my gosh.
So I think we just...
That face, right?
Huh?
Ping the 3/1 and go face?
And go face, yeah, exactly.
Well, no matter what he does, we're going to Reckless next turn, I think. Because we Reckless next turn, and the Felmaw hits the Reckless, it'll bring the Felmaw down to 1 health for the next Reckless.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the other option is to evoke her.
We could evoke. It depends. If he goes wide, we want a Reckless. If he doesn't develop any minions.
Yeah, I agree. If he plays a bunch of mini, things, like, okay, so...
Then he plays the 1/1.
Then he plays the 1/1.
Okay.
We trade the 2/1 into the 3/3 and Apprentice.
Reckless. Yeah. Perfect. He just gave us our curve.
Yeah.
Now, in a perfect world, the Felmaw hits the 3/5. Hit the 3/5.
Nope. But that's okay.
It's fine. It's not what I wanted, but so now we want to draw the Wildfire.
Yes.
We can't trade the 3/5 in, but he's probably going to want to deal with it this turn to try to preserve his 5/2.
So he's gonna Ringling's Rifle.
See how fast he picks this. If he picks it real fast, it's Freezing Trap. It's Freezing Trap.
He snap picked it.
It's Freezing Trap, which actually isn't bad if it's Freezing Trap. So
no, because if we were gonna get a card back in our hand, we would want it to be Reckless Apprentice, right?
let's swing this to face, or do we want to try to hit the 5/2? That could set off. If we swing it and it's like, how could that hurt us? Let's swing it into the 5/2.
Snake Trap.
Snake, perfect, perfect. So now we just reckless, right?
Yep.
So it was snakes. I was thinking, if it's snakes, it's really good, but he wouldn't pick snakes.
Not snap pick. I mean, he snap picked snakes.
Of course, a lot of people are learning just snap pick the best one, make a quick decision, because it makes you think that they got exactly the best choice. Of course, a lot of pros will, no matter what the choice is, they'll take the longest time. So it's two different ways of doing it.
Yeah. So there's another Arcane.
We're masking this turn, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We swing face first?
I think so.
Okay. Mask. Ice Trap. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can just courier it next turn.
Yep. So we are on curve.
We are. That's the trick on this. You want to stay on curve.
So ramming mount. Okay.
So he's like top decking now.
Yep. Trading the doggy biscuit.
Oh, that went face. Okay. Ooh.
Do we Gray Sage instead?
Gray Sage won't give us mask.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Didn't cast it, so we'll need to clumsy it, but we won't have anything for the Gray Sage.
Yeah. Well, we can evoke her to get something.
Yeah. We're probably gonna evoke her Ice Barrier next turn.
I probably should have cleared the 2/2.
Yeah, you should have cleared that.
I went
but
fast.
That's fine. That's fine. I would have cleared it. So evoke her Ice Barrier next turn. I don't think we're at risk to see his hero power's doing.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see what he plays because we could Snow Flurry to freeze something.
We could, but wouldn't 8 healing be better?
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, if we think he's gonna lethal off of.
So there's the trampling.
Face. Ooh. Yeah, but we're not taking any damage.
Nope. He's just clearing a minion.
So, okay. So maybe now we do Amplified Snow Flurry to freeze the Rhino.
Okay.
Now, before we trade, let's Deepwater Evoker first to see what spell we're going to have next turn. Mask.
Perfect.
Now, since it's mask, do we go ahead and trade into the 2/2?
Yes. I think we removed the 2/2.
Because he's not going to Rhino us.
Right. He's got a 4 damage hero power.
He knows that's mask because we just gained 7 armor.
Right.
He's still got a 4 damage? Has he not been using his hero power?
No.
Oh, he's not been. He's been maxing out his mana every turn.
There's the second trampling.
We'll take 2 damage. Okay.
3, 6, 7.
So we mask first.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mask. Because we don't have a mask on the stack yet. Perfect. Swing, ping, and he concedes, right?
I don't think he has any way to do 13 with the card in hand, and he'd have to do 11 plus his hero power.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's done. You want to play one more since that one went so quick?
Sure. I'd say if he gives us a chance, we Dawn Grasp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can play one more. I'm down for one more. Because then we're done. Because I want to play this deck. Again, I made a comment to somebody. I have a weird MMR gap. Like where I'm at in the MMR. Everybody tends to meme until Diamond 5. And then they go hardcore. And then when they get in the Legend, they meme again.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of what I do too, so.
All right, so we're up against a potential Warlock.
A potential Warlock. Now, Warlock has been a thing, so.
I think we throw all of this back.
Yeah, we're not going to need the Ice Barrier in this matchup. Yeah, I think we just throw it all back.
And we are on the coin, so. Varden, Evoker, Apprentice, and Mask of Cthulhu. So
Question is, what do we do on 4?
It'd be great if we could top deck a Shivering. No, Rune.
Wildfire would have been good too.
Yeah.
Shivering or Wildfire.
Blood Mage Thalnos.
Giving us something to ping. It's weird not. He didn't want to use his hero power.
Nope.
That's weird. I'm wondering if he has is it Raised Dead? But he's not Quest.
There's his hero power. Tour Guide.
This might be an LTK, which there are some that still exist.
Wildfire hero power?
Yeah, but I think we hero power face.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we're going to clear that up with an Apprentice anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And it gives us one more tick on the Apprentice. On the Mordresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we don't, unless he kills it, which he might.
So he's going to hero power. Because it was free. Play a Mana Feeder. Okay.
Could it be LTK? I mean, it's still a card.
So there's Shivering. Of course, we've got, it would reduce the Archmage. It would reduce the Rune to 8.
So that means we want to save the coin. Let's Reckless. And then pass. We will probably. So if next turn we play another 4 cost and the Shivering, then that'll reduce it down to 8. Then when we get to 7, we can 7 then.
There's
8.
the Mithril Rod.
Yeah. Ooh. Maybe we Shivering Reckless? So I think we win this by Mordresh.
Yeah, I think so too.
We want to threaten his life total. So next turn we're probably going to be coining out the mask.
Yeah.
If he doesn't develop a board this turn, which this is probably a draw turn, which means he doesn't develop the board, we tear him up with mask.
Artificer. Ooh. Okay.
He's probably clearing the board and not drawing.
School Spirits.
Fine.
That doesn't clear the board.
Oh. Yeah, we just coin out mask and hit him in the face. Hard.
So now he has to do something or die.
Yeah, He can't tap, which is his primary way of drawing every turn. He has to gain some life. There's the Netherseam.
And a Drain Soul.
Okay, so he's gaining a little bit of life back. Rune might win us the game. There's a Soul Fragment.
So, do we
Oh.
Clumsy Courier here?
I mean, so here's two lines of thought. We can Hero Power him and then Fire Sale to draw to try to see if we can close out the game. But Clumsy Courier is going to cast Rune, which might just win the game.
That's true.
So I think we Clumsy Courier here. That looks helpful. Oh, Ice Blood could be Mask. And next turn, Grey Sage is Mask.
Yeah.
So, Mana Biscuit. So, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to Mana Biscuit, Hero Power Face. And then play the Lab Partner. Just for, if he casts a Fireball, that's 7.
Arcane Overflow. That
doesn't help.
A waste, yeah.
That's fine, though.
Dreadlich Tamsin.
Fine. Probably a Nathrezim here for some more healing. See, every turn is a threat of a mask. And if he doesn't develop on board or draw any imps, Grey Sage is a mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mortal Coil. He's not healing. So this is LTK. I can't believe he's still trying to make it work. Oh. That's it. So Wildfire, Pink Face, Grey Sage is lethal.
Yes, it is.
Because that should be Mask, right?
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Woo!
Because the Courier cast the Rune. So this is where Courier actually benefited us.
Yeah.
By casting the Rune, so it wasn't on the Grey Sage stack.
Right.
There you go. That was a good win.
That was a very good
The
win.
way you beat the LTKs, you just have to keep pressuring them so that them tapping to draw cards is detrimental.
Yeah.
So that turn that he was wanting to do a bunch of tapping and draw
he had to spend his
combo,
time gaining health.
He had to heal and work on clearing our board, which he couldn't even do all the way.
Right.
Look at all those. Do quest much? Oh, you and your packs. I got so many packs I haven't opened.
Yeah.
An epic. You're so lucky. All right. Let's get out of here so I can play.
Why? You want to go play?
I want to play.
Oh. All right, gang. That's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so already. And if you would like more details about this deck or anything else we've done on the show, head on over to patreon.com/heropower, and we'll see you all again next time.
Bye, guys.